welcome to the Payback Life Insurance Group team training call. This is going to be an exciting call. I'm super excited about this call. This young man that we're going to talk to today, we have since become friends. He's literally been everywhere. I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nacho, but when you first started, I think you've been with us for about a year and a half, but as you kind of grew, you were just everywhere. I seen you on live dials all the time. I seen you at all the events. You went to the events in Arizona. One time we had an event just a month ago in Arizona. It was a one-day event, and he literally his plane got delayed, and he still showed up to the event. And I think he was only there for 4 hours later. I mean, to me, that's dedication right there. And I think it's fantastic. And I think, you guys will agree with me here that this guy, he's just a down to earth guy, right? He's a good, great guy to get to know. And he has since been a really good friend of mine. So I wanted to introduce you to Michael Iheanacho. And we call him Nacho for short. So welcome on, Nacho.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Absolutely.
You're very welcome. Can you guys hear him okay?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Okay, perfect.
Heck yeah, I'm
Perfect.
stoked.
Awesome. So, Nacho, I wanted to just kind of open it up to you and kind of introduce yourself to everybody, let everybody know where you came from, what your background is, and then why did you get into FFL? Why did you get into insurance?
Well, guys, my name is Michael Iheanacho again. I am actually originally from Nigeria. It's far away. It's 2 days to get there, you know. But I'm originally from Nigeria. When I came here, I lived in Charlotte first, and then my family we moved to Columbia, South Carolina. So um, been here for quite some time, you know. Love it. It's different, you know. So for the industry, for me, the reason I got into FFL, well, first of all, I never knew this existed. You know, I never knew life insurance existed. I didn't know what life insurance was. Till my dad passed away in 2020. So my dad passed away in 2020, and when he passed away, we didn't know that he didn't have any life insurance. I had no clue. And I was researching on Google what is life insurance, you know. And so when I found out what it was, I was like, hold on, why didn't you have this? You know, why didn't have anything to protect us, protect my mom, my sisters, you know, because now we had to pay for the funeral, we got to pay for other stuff, and we have a mortgage, right? We still got to pay for that mortgage. So that was not easy. So yeah, come to find out you don't have no life insurance. Long story short, we actually lost the house. You know, we lost the house. We had to move to an apartment. My mom moved to Georgia to stay one of my sisters. You know, I stayed in Columbia. So and we had to borrow money from the bank to pay our dad. So that's when the reality hit, you know. So because of that, it just got me really curious about what is life insurance and you know, what it all really does, you know. So when I did my research, I was like, okay, cool. This is like health insurance, right? But just better because now you have some money to take care of take care of your family, right? So I was like, cool. So and I was already like in the Medicare world. I was already like in the, you know, I was already in that kind of zone. So because of that, I did some research on Indeed. Um, got a couple of job interviews, you know. I think one of them was for um, Dynamic, forgot the name of the company. But they were terrible. They weren't the best company ever. They were just like, you know, the training was horrible. It was a hassle. But I met someone there. His name is Austin Nix. I'm not sure you guys know him. But he was the first guy that, you know, pretty much told me about FFO, you know. And he was like, bro, I'm already making $3,000 already. I don't know why we're here. Why am I here for this interview? And I'm like, well, if you're already making 3,000, why are you even here for this interview? So because that we've changed numbers, and then you know, I was just so much curious about how can I get into this type of culture? How can I learn more about it? And also, how can I get my mom that coverage too as well? Because she doesn't have life insurance either. So because of that, I finally got a hold of him. Um, he was going to recruit me actually, but he lives like 24 hours away. So um, he told me to call corporate, and then I called corporate, and then corporate referred me to Jamie. That's how Jamie and I met. Jamie was just driving down the road. He was like, "Hello, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, okay." Well, man, I just closed about 10 sales right now. I'm on my way to my 12th one. So, do you want to get into business? Is this, you can make a lot of money here. You can do a lot of things with it. This is not like your normal job. I was like, that's crazy. How do you close as many sales? Like, well, it's real out here. So, I can show you. So I was like, cool. So we scheduled one conversation after that, and since then the rest has been history. So that's how I got here.
Awesome. Awesome. I know you came from some humble beginnings, but I didn't know your whole story. That's amazing, man. That's awesome. Um, so I wanted to ask you, when you first got in, what kind of leads did you start working?
So when I first started, I was more focused on I was trying to learn like what how do I talk to people? You know what I'm saying? I think that was my biggest focus because first I have an accent, right? And then I was so new to this stuff. It was a different structure. So the leads that I really focused on more was final expense lead, you know. And I told the final expense is it's a great way. I tell everybody this final expense is a great way to learn like how to actually sell insurance because there's so many products we have. We have IULs, we have mortgage, we have annuities. There's so many products, right? But the core root of knowing how to that's going to help you get to knowing how to sell all those things and more is really final expense because it's going to teach you how to talk to people, number one. Okay, it's going to teach you how to communicate with them, how to sound intelligent, the right way to present the product to them, the right way to actually, ask about stuff, because you're watching your body language, you're watching your tone, you're watching picking the right words, all that stuff and more. So I really just focus on that. I think for a while I was in a lot of the age, the questionnaire leaves, I went from that the questionnaire leaves to doing a lot of beneficial leaves. The beneficial leaves are great because it has the name of the beneficiary on it. So it was easier to
And you
really.
got, where did you get these leads at, Nacho?
I get it from IOC. IOC. I'm to be honest with you guys, I've been in IOC for like ever since I've been
And those are the only leads that you work
right. Those are the only
consistently.
honestly. It just takes some time to get to know them the right. Like I said, it's the proper way to talk to people. The proper way to communicate with them to make them understand stuff. You got to something. You got to speak their language a little bit. So that's why I studied. I beneficial leads for a while. I was doing it for all of last year. That's all we're doing. Beneficial leads every single week, every single week. Because it just made more sense to me that way. I had the name of beneficial.
Okay. So you started on the final expense leads. Now you like the leads that have the beneficiary.
Right. So I started on
Final
the right. So I started on final expense. There is where you have the 3 month old, 2 month old. You have the 6 month old ones. And that's what Jamie put me on. Jamie was more, he was very strict about it. He's like, just start with the 8 weeks and just focus on that for a while till you get the thing of it, till you actually understand the structure. Because first of all, there's when you what we do is we having conversations with people. We're not salespeople. Does that make sense? So, I had to take my mind off of that because I was in that world before, right? Um, Now this is a whole different world. So it's like okay, I had to take myself out of that and put myself in a conversation where I'm actually having, you know, where it feels like, a one-on-one conversation with them about their finances, their goals, the goals they want for the family, and how can we achieve that goal? How can I help you get there? What can I do for you? Stuff like that. Understanding needs, understanding their budget, understanding, their circumstances, everything and more. So, I did that for a while, and then I went into the beneficial leads. The beneficial leads are like brand new. They're brand new finance leads. Okay, they're from a day old to a couple weeks old. Okay, so they're like $14. So it's a good investment. It's a great investment. The reason is because they have the name of the beneficiary on them. So when I talk to a lead, right, I just be like, hey, so I have the name of your beneficiary as Lisa Simpson. Is that correct? They would say yes. They say automatically yes. When they say that, it's like, okay, we can talk now, right? I kind of got them over to my side. So, and then I go into the, yeah, okay, so they just want me to go over the options here with you. I don't have a lot of time right now, just to write with. And then they say, yeah, I got a pen and paper, yeah, I'm ready. So we go right into it. So that's kind of like, you know, the way I've been doing it for a while because it's it gets me right to the appointment. It gets me right to the conversation. We talk about it, we figure it out, and we go from there. So yeah, they go lead.
Now, do you set a lot of appointments, or do you focus like on one call closes where you call them up and just go through the whole presentation?
I like to do one call closes.
Okay.
Appointments, I like to do one call closes. The reason I do that because if they're available right then and there, let's knock it out. But I mostly do that with final expense leads, the beneficial leads, and the mortgage leads. That's about it. But the IU loads are different. You have to first have the first conversation, right? Just figure out their needs, what they want to accomplish, their goals, all this stuff and more. And then let's set the second appointment so I can show you how your money's going to be like within 15, 20, 25 years. So, but when it comes to the beneficiaries and the mortgage, I like to want to close them because if they are available right then and there, let's get it done. But if they're in a rush, they're in a hurry, they're at work or whatever's going with them, right? I was booking for the next day or the following day, but never like too far. Yeah.
So if they can't go through the whole one call close, you can't go through the whole presentation right there, then you go ahead and book that appointment.
Right, exactly. I book it either for, if I called in the morning, I book it for maybe in the afternoon, or we can book it in the evening time, or we can book it for the next day or two. So that's about it. And then if they're once they show up, we go right into it. So
Okay. Now thinking about, when you first got started, Nacho, when did you practice your scripts before you got on the phones? Did you prepare? How long did that preparation take before you even made your first phone call every day?
yeah, honestly it took me about a month. I won't lie to you. Because I was on the transition phase. I was still doing my full-time job at the time, and that was I really hated it, because my mind was on the business side, right, instead of the job I was doing. So I was spending 8 to 12 hours working my job, but I was like, I can't be putting this hour towards what I'm doing. What I'm doing right now is the business, right? So because of that, I just spent the whole month just kind of learning my script, practicing over, doing a bunch of role plays with my friends, my mom, sisters, trying to understand how to do it, how to talk. We got a lot of scripts from Jamie, asking a lot of questions. Anything you want to learn, and especially in this industry, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask anybody a question. Don't be afraid to call anybody, want anybody up. Don't be afraid to hit anybody or text them. Just go for it, okay? Because the only way to learn how to do this is to ask a question. You can't understand if you don't ask a question. So I spent literally my first year asking a lot of questions. I would text Lockhart. He'd be so annoyed, but I have to. I gotta understand this stuff. So, but that just how I learn, because it took me a while. It took me some time, but it was all worth it. Trust me, it was all worth it because now I don't really have to worry about. I know my structure. I know how to talk on the phone. I know what to say. I know how to understand the people, listen to them. I know how to present the product to people. I know how to talk about the budget, the price, everything and more. So it just built a confidence in me, And I would practice. Honestly, I wake up in the morning practice, and then I remember my first phone call. I practiced 2 hours before I took the phone call. So, but that's just what it took me. It just took me repetition, 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 because I needed confidence to know, to believe in myself that okay, I can. I'll do this person. We can have a conversation. We can go from step one to step, two and three. You know what I'm saying, to the application. So once I got my first sale, got the jitters off of me. Yeah, I was more tuned into the business. Yeah.
That's awesome. I remember a couple of times I'd be sitting, I think it happened twice, literally a couple of times. And I'd be sitting at dinner with my family and I get a call from Nacho. And I'm like, I'm not answering this right now. And then he calls me right back and I'm like, okay, he really wants to learn something, either that or he's on a call. I need to take this call. And I'd sit there and talk to him for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and he's just pounding me with questions and questions and questions. And I loved it, right? Because as I'm answering the questions, it helps me think outside the box to help him, right? So it's not only helping him, but it's helping me because I get to help him, right? So, I commend you for doing that and having the ambition to keep doing that, right? I love answering questions, and you and we're not on the same team, right? We're on Jamie's team, but you're not on my team, right? That's why I love this business, is because you reach out to somebody and you're persistent enough, they're going to help you, right? So I commend you for that, Nacho. You're doing great right now. When you first started, what is the average that you were doing? It was around 5,000 a month, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, when I first started, it was really 5,000. It wasn't until I believe it was around September, October of next year or so, where I was aiming for 10,000 a week. You know, I saw the production. I went from 5,000 a month to 5,000 a week, which was crazy. Right when I started doing, that, I was like, the light bulb just hit me. I was like, that's insane. I was like, that's crazy. Like that's more than I ever made my whole freaking life. So I was like, that's insane. So when it hit me, I was like, this is real. Like this is possible. Like wow, that's crazy. So all I had to do was just keep doing the same thing I'm doing. Just keep applying the same consistency, the same efforts, the same dedication. And for me, I always prefer my script. I every 2 weeks I look at my script. I look at I go back and revise it. Like I would text you a lot. I would be like, hey, what about this? What how did you say this? How did you look at this? How do you say that? I would always do that because that helped me sharpen up my, what I'm talking about, So for me doing that and me applying the same work ethic every single day, every single week, I went from 5,000 a month to literally 5,000 a week. Then all of a sudden it was 10,000 a week. And I'm like, that's crazy, So, but I just kept plugging in and kept plugging in. And the more I kept doing that, the more I grew, the more better I got, the more consistency, the more production. I'm producing every single day, every single week. I was like, wow, that's awesome. Now, you know, one thing to think about is how can I be better than Jim? How can I reach Tony's level? How can I get to, Lockhart's level? How can I reach that level? Because I mean, when you are when you are on that road, the only thing you think about is just how can you get to the top, So that's just me. So I'm really driven. I have a hard work ethic. I don't really quit. I bust my tail just to get that win, just to get that win. Even if it's just one win, it just shows me it's possible. And then if I see that, like it's like when in basketball, right? You have a 3-point shooter. You shoot the ball, you see the ball going to the net. His eyes wide open. He's gonna be shooting all day long, right? So that's what it was for me when I made my first sale. I was like, wow. Now I'm at 5,000 a month to 5,000 a week. That's crazy. So that was it.
Nacho, how many appointments do you usually book a week? And are you setting your own appointments or do you have somebody else setting your appointments?
Most of the time, I'm setting them up for me. I do have, I have the lead tempo. So because of that, it's been a game changer. Anybody want to get it, get it. The lead tempo is a game changer because it literally books about 30 of my appointments, 30% of them. And then I'm booking the rest of them. So it's like, it's a great way for you to have more on top of what you already have. Okay. So for me, I have roughly about 30 to 40, 30 to 40 a week, you know, based
34.
on 30 to 40 a week, 30 to 40 appointments a week, just based on how many leads I buy, how many leads I'm in the system per week, and some leads I don't really have to some weeks I don't have to put that much. It just depends on what type of lead I have. I could just put like 50 leads and book about 20, 30 and then go from there. So but it varies based on how much I put in there. But roughly about 30, 40.
Okay. So for the new people that are on here, do you have no shows?
Yes. Hell
How
yes.
many no shows do you get out of those 30 to 40 appointments?
So let me give you a rough example, right? So if I have 10 appointments in a day, right? Let me be real with you guys, okay? 10 appointments a day, you're about five of them, half of them are going to show up, okay? That's just the reality because people got this going on, this going on. I just had a client who is for her and her husband. They missed their appointment right before helping us call. They missed their appointment because they had something going on, okay? But it's okay. People got stuff going on all the time, and you have to respect that. For me, I don't. When I first started, it made me very upset. I was mad at myself, and I was mad at what I was doing. I was like, okay, why are they not showing up? Why are they not showing up? Why are they not showing up? But the more and more I, understand the structure and the business, everything, and more, and in the work ethic, the workflow, I pretty much stop stressing about that and just focus on the ones that show up. Okay. So if I have five people that show out of 10 people, half of them are going to show up, right? So that's five people right there. Okay. My focus is communicating with that five. How can I help them achieve their goal? What they want to do, right? So my goal is to present at all five. And most of the time I'm presenting to about either four of them or three of them. And I'm closing about two or three of them right there, you know. So it's frustrating, trust me, it really is. You can have a day, you have 10 appointments booked and nobody shows up. Really, it's the reality. You can't. What you gotta understand is failure is a beautiful thing, man. I'm serious on that. Failure is a beautiful thing because it's only gonna make you stronger. I'm so serious on that. Okay, it's gonna make you stronger. It's gonna make you better. It's gonna make you more want to be more dedicated. Want to go harder. Like forget about it. Let's go. Like you focus on the next day. I take one day at a time. Every day I'm chasing a win. I have something here in my deck where it says next win, next win, next win. So I'm chasing that next win. I'm not focused on the person that's, give me a run around and all that stuff. Don't waste your time, people like that. Go to the next person, chase the next win. So if I have a bunch of no shows, it is what it is. I'll move on to the next person. I'll move on to the next person that's available on my list to call. So it's like, that's my goal. How can I reach that person? Let's reach that person. That person shows up to the appointment. Let's help them out, and it's okay. But failure is the key to success. Let me be real with you. Failure is the key to success. If you don't have failure, you're not going to succeed in this business. You have to fail sometimes to get where you're going. And it's a beautiful thing because it's only going to sharpen up your skills. It's going to take you further and it's going to make you way better than what you were before a year or two ago. So it's a key.
So now that's great, man. Always looking for the next win. I love that. I wrote that down.
Yeah.
That's how we grow, right? The only difference between unsuccessful people and successful people, the successful people went through the same crap, except for the unsuccessful people just gave up, right? And if you don't give up, you're pretty much guaranteed to succeed. Now, Nacho, I want to kind of fast forward a little bit here. You're averaging on about helping 30 to 40 families a month now, consistently. Okay. What changed in that process? Did you buy different leads? were you growing? Were you focused on IULs, mortgage protection? Because I know you started with final expense, moving to mortgage protection, that's a higher ticket item, and then IULs is even a higher ticket item. So how are you doing that? If you have that many appointments a day, how did you learn IULs? And what are you focusing on now? And what I know that's kind of a ton of questions here, but I want to get it all in one swoop here. What switched? What all of a sudden made you start doing 30, 40,000? Because I started looking in the Discord and all of a sudden there's Nacho. There's Nacho. There's Nacho. There's Nacho again. Like all the time, bro. What happened?
Let me be honest with you. Right after we came back from, remember we went to that when we went to convention, right? Remember we
Hmm.
were in that room, and I said my goal this year is 500,000, 500K, right?
Yeah.
That's that's my motivation because I want that so bad, right? So since then I came back, I had to change up my lifestyle. I had to change, the people I surround myself with. And because when I was doing the business when I first started, I had a lot of distractions. I had people around me distracting me, people, blowing on my phone as I'm working. Like I can't have that, right? So when I'm working, I put my phone on focus mode. I'm working right now, right? So if you want to reach me, text me, but I'm not even gonna get the text message, right? I'm gonna get it after I get off work. So I set my phone to no disturb, right? Till a certain time. So I get to work right around 9 o'clock or so. So till that time, I'm focused on what I'm doing. Now, if it is emergency, like my mom or someone hit me up like that, that's different. But I had a block distraction number one because it's so easy when you're working to get distracted. It's like a bunch of things can throw you off, right? So that was number one. Number two, I had to refocus on what I really wanted to achieve and how can I achieve it the fastest way and the most logical way. So I remember you were talking about IUs a lot. So remember I reached out to you and said, hey, how did you present this? I listen. When we came back from the convention, listen, I was on live doc for 2 weeks, just listening to Lockhart, listening to your like live docs, right? So your presentations, all that stuff and more, and I was taking notes. I recorded your calls. Okay. I recorded your calls, man. I recorded your calls. I recorded Lockhart's call. I recorded Jamie's call. I went back to Jamie's office in Greenville. Hey man, I'm here. I'm just gonna listen to your call. Just don't worry about it. Just talk. Just recording his calls, took notes. And I took all of that stuff and I went back home and I put everything in one, right? I put your script, I combined your script, Jamie's script, Larkhart's script into one script for IULs. And it just made so much sense. I was like, wow, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know it was about that. I didn't know it was that language. I could talk about this. I was like, that's insane. So when I put it all together, I was like, yo, I even think about it today. I'm like, should I give my script to people? They can have this stuff. This is really good. But it's like I was like, that's insane. That's how they're doing it. That's what they're talking about. Wow. So when I understood how great IULs are, how big. Listen to me. IULs is the next level. Okay, IULs is the future. If you really want to really grow fast and really get your business where you want to be or achieve your goals in a very fast way, IULs is the key. Okay, because there's today I have a family I'm presenting IUL to. I have an entire family of 17 people that I'm doing a live video conference presenting the IUL to. Does that make sense? That's crazy, right? Because they don't know about it. They were like, that's insane. Why didn't I know about this 20 years ago? I'm like, I know, right? They just don't tell you that stuff. They don't want you to know. I mean, this is what I say. I say your president has an IUL, your vice president has an IUL, your famous politicians have an IUL, your famous celebrities have an IUL, famous athletes have it, but you doesn't know about it. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy, but that's the reality. That's the truth. And a lot of people are shocked to the possibility and the advantages that you get with such a product, because they don't have that. They don't have that on their portfolio. They can't even accomplish that with the 401k or the IRA. So they can't do that. So yeah, like I said, I put together your script. I made it into my own type of language, right? How I would talk. And that came from, really sitting down, understand, okay, in order for me to achieve my goal, I have to change up my script. I have to, study something that I don't really know about, you know, but I know it's gonna, for the long run, it's gonna really get me where I want to be at, right? So I did that. I believe I spent a week or two in IUL and I closed like some good numbers. Okay, that's cool. So now now I'm no longer doing like final expense. That's what I was doing when I first started. Now I'm really focused on most of my leads. It's really like 70, 70% is IULs. And then 30, 40 is really mortgage leads. Okay. Mortgage leads, like I always tell the clients, mortgage is really what I call my right now money, because it pays my bills, takes care of me, keeps the business funded, all this stuff and more. The difference between mortgage and IUL is the fact that IULs take some time for you to get paid, right? It takes about a month or two, then you get paid because they got to process all this stuff, all that stuff and more. But when you get paid, it's worth it. You're gonna see that return. You're gonna see that yes, this is really worth it. Because I mean, if you close a target putting on $20,000, that's a lot. Okay, that's a lot. So that's a lot of money you're getting paid for just that one policy. Just understanding that reality. So that's what I mean that IU is the future, because it's it's really going to take your business far. You want to implement that in your script, what you do, what you present to people, everything and more. For me, I'm always perfecting my stuff. Like 2 days ago, I came here to my office and I reviewed my Iowa script. I went over it, I perfected it. I went over some more. So spend time on your script, whatever that is, and always revise it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe every 2 weeks or once a month, revise your script, perfect it. Take notes from Jamie, take notes from, Lockhart, take notes from Shawn, whatever that you see. I just look at nuggets. I listen to nuggets. What are they saying that is really, you know, grabbing people's attention? And that's what I studied a lot. And I put that in my script. Like I was calling you. I would call Lockhart. I was texting. I was sending voice messages. I would say, hey man, I don't mean to annoy you, but I just got to ask you this question real quick. So, and he would respond right away, and I was like, cool. So that's the way. So that's my motto right now. The what got me to writing, 30, 40K a week is really mortgage and IULs. Most of that is IULs. Most of that is mortgage. So it's like it's the way right now to me. Maybe I'm not sure if that's what you're on, but to me, it's the way. I feel like every new agent start off with final expense, learn what to do, learn the biz, learn the structure, because final expenses teaches you what you need to know, so that when you start doing mortgage, you know what to talk about, you know how to talk to people, right? So, and that's why I spend a lot of time. That's even what you advised me. You told me, I think we're in locked-in. You told me focus on final expense and then come back to mortgage. So I did that. That's what I did it for a while. So it's like now when I do mortgage, it's like everything I did in final expense is exactly what I'm doing in mortgage, but just a different structure, right? So that's just the whole point. So you're gonna get to that level. You're gonna do that, but start up with final expense and then grow to mortgage. Because when you start doing mortgage now, the more we leave at close, now it's like the average premium is about $3,000, right? Average premium $3,000. So think about it. If you closing like 3 or 4 or 5 of that a week, right? You're getting closer to your goal. If you're closing about that much, you're getting closer to you writing $30,000, $40,000 a week. And then plus you supplement that with the IUL leads that you're buying and you're closing those sales as well. That's how you're producing about $30,000, $40,000 per month. So yeah.
Wow. Hard work, determination, consistency, persistency, right? That's what I'm pulling out of this. I mean, you literally started from ground zero and worked your way up because of persistency and consistency, right? I always say persistency will get you there, consistency will keep you there,
Yeah.
right? But the will and the drive to keep moving forward is that goal, right? That goal that you set. I want to hit 500,000. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to 500,000 by the end of this year. That takes working a lot. That takes getting more knowledge. That takes getting on the phones, practicing before you get on the phones, eat, sleep, and be merry with life insurance, right?
Exactly.
So so that's what I'm pulling out of this. Nacho, let's do this. I want you to pretend I'm the client and then set an appointment with me. What would you say? How do you say it? How do you tee it up? You can do it for mortgage protection, IUL, whatever you want to do.
Okay. So what I do, let's say that IUL, right? So in the IUL appointment, you doing role play, right?
Yeah, yeah, let's do it.
All right. All right. Ring.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, hi, is
Well,
this
hey, hello.
hi, is this Shawn?
Yeah,
Hey, Shawn. This is Michael Iheanacho. I'm just calling you for the IUL appointment that's scheduled for the day. Are you still available?
yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. Yep. So do you have something to write, like a pen and paper?
Yeah, I got it right here.
All right. All right. Now, so you put on here that you wanted to fund your retirement for your IUL. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what first of all, what got you interested about IUL? What do you know about it so far?
I don't know too much. I just saw the ads on Facebook, and I know you can grow your money through life insurance, but I don't really know too much of it.
Okay. Yeah. So the IUL, first of all, there's 5 points about IUL, right? So number one, is life insurance. Okay, IUL is a type of life insurance, um, and it's a type of whole life insurance. Okay, so now it's designed to. There's 5 reasons why people get an IUL. Number one, the first one is the death benefit side and living benefit side. Okay, so death benefit, if you were to pass away from anything, right? You were to pass away, your family's going to get a lump sum check to to cover your funeral and to also take care of themselves. Okay. Number two is the living benefit side. Living benefits where if you have a heart attack, you have stroke, you have cancer, anything down the road, right? You can cash out the entire policy, which is good, right? So you have those in place just to help you out. It's like a long-term care coverage. Okay. That's number two. So you have living benefit, death benefit. Okay. The next three are more focused on the cash accumulation side. So you have first is tax-free accumulation. Okay. So tax-free accumulation is where, for example, in IU, we have the 401k, and the 401k you only put in about 23,000, right? In a IRA, you can put about 7,500 if you're over 50. Okay. So, but that's not doing much for you, okay? Because that's limiting how much you put into it per year. So with the IUL, you can put into as much as you want to, okay? You have tax-free accumulation, so it's building cash value over time. So within a short period of time, 5, 10, 15 years, your policy is building cash value. Okay. So now it's tied to the index, it's tied to the S&P 500. So the S&P 500 is made up of 500 of the America's largest companies in the country. Okay, so your money is growing at an interest rate. Okay, now what's great about it is the fact that you don't have to worry about losing money. Okay, so you're only participating in the market gains, but never the losses. Okay, that's what separates it from most of these, the 401k, the IRA, and because those are tied to the market where you have a lot of risks tied to it, right? But with the IUL, you have it's very safe, your money's secure, losing money, you don't have to worry about losing money. For example, let's go back 4 years ago, right? 4 years ago, COVID happened, right? A lot of people had money in the 401k, IRA, lost a lot of money, right? But people that had money in the IUL, the money was safe. Okay. That's the difference. So if the market goes down, your money stays where it's at. But the market goes up, your money goes up, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
How
Um,
much how much does that how much do I have to how much does it cost?
okay, so that's like um it's I wouldn't be the one to really tell you that, honestly, to say, because there's no cap on what you can put into this, okay? I have clients, for example, I have clients that put in $2,000 a month. I have clients that put in $5,000 a month. I have clients that put in $10,000 a month. Okay, so it's everybody varies. I'm not. It's not what you have. It's not what is required of you, but it's what my clients do. Okay, so based on, let me ask you this: what would be for something like this, right? What would be the maximum that you want to put for something like this? What would be the minimum you want to put for something like this?
What's the maximum? I probably do $500.
500. Okay.
Huh?
So you said 500 maximum.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So look, this is what I'm gonna do. Okay. So I'm gonna put together an illustration for you, and I'm gonna show you how this 500 that you want to put into every single month is gonna grow within the next 15, 20, 25 years. Let's see. What day next are you available? Are you available tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see what I have here. I do have a 2:30 available. I also have a 5:30 and also a 7 o'clock. What time was it?
Probably 5:30.
5:30? Okay. All right. So I'm gonna shoot you over a test confirmation that coming for 5:30. When you get that, just respond back to me. Let me know you got it, okay? In the meantime, I'm gonna put this together for you, and then tomorrow we're gonna go over it and get you situated, okay?
Perfect. Perfect. So when you call people, the very first call you make when you're calling for IUL appointments is that's what you say through that first conversation. You're not just setting an appointment and then saying that. That's what you say on that first call.
Right. So you wanna really kind of open their eyes about the IUL. You know what I'm saying? What they're missing, the benefits of it, like there's the 5 points why people get it, which is really death benefit, living benefit, cash free accumulation, tax free withdrawal, as well as also no penalties. Okay, those are the 5 points people get. So I talk about those things in great detail so they understand it really well, because it opens their eyes to say, wow, I never thought this was even possible, right? So, and then I compare a lot of what they have, like their 401k, IRA, say, hey, look at this. If you had half a mil, if you wanted to, have a million dollars to retire with, right? You would have to have 1.5 million dollars in your 401k, because they're gonna tax you about 30% of that. Okay. But with the IUL, you don't have to have that. You can take out that entire 1 million, right? Tax free, no penalties, and it's your money. You do what you want to do with it. So that's the difference right there. So when you say all these things and more, it opens their eyes to the possibilities. Like, wow, I never thought that's even possible. That's crazy. So after I mentioned that to them, now we're talking about, okay, what's your, first I qualify them. After that, I just said, okay, hey, before we get into it, I got to make sure, you qualify for this kind of product, right? So I asked them, the finance questions, the health questions. Can I look at their budget, make sure that, hey, I can see, okay, this is how much they can afford. This is, they qualify, they're very healthy. Once we confirm those things, then I say, okay, so now most of my clients, right? I took this from you. Most of my clients, they're really, I have clients that put in, $2,000 a month, I have clients that put in 5,000 a month, I have clients that put in 10,000 a month, okay? But it's not what's required of you, okay? But it just what all my clients do, okay? But what would you say is the maximum you want to contribute something like this, and what would be your minimum? Okay, most of the time they either telling me 1,000, 2,000, or 5,000. The ones that can't afford that month, they say 500. Like you just said, 500 maximum. That's really what they're saying. And so once they say that, I say, cool, awesome. Now this is what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna put together your policy illustration for you. Okay, to show you how your money's gonna look like within the next 15, 20, 25 years. Okay. So let's do this. What's the next day you're available? And then we schedule the appointment. We schedule it for the second appointment. Because in that second appointment, I'm going to present the policy. I'm going to present the illustration. I'm going to talk about the living benefits, the structure of the policy, the company itself, everything and more, and I get to the numbers because the numbers is what they care about, right? When I show them those numbers, when I show them that, for example, $1,000, right? When I see that they're at 100,000 in less than 5 years, their mind go crazy. They're like, "Wow, that's insane! I have this. I'm going to have this much within this amount of time. By the time I retire, I'm going to have, most of them by the time they retire, they have either 500,000 or they're over right at 1 million, right? So when they see those numbers, like, wow, that's crazy. That's amazing. I never thought this was possible. Why haven't I done this in 20, 25 years? I said, cool. I said, now my closing is like, so once I talk about that, they're happy with it, they love it. Everything's all good and dandy. Then I threw them with his closing. I said, okay, all right, good. So now, do you have anything like this in your portfolio? And they're like, no, I don't have anything like this in my portfolio. So would you like to have something like this would you like to have something like this in your portfolio? Like, yes. I said, cool, let's go right into it. Let me pull out your form and I'm gonna submit it for you. I'm gonna submit it for you, okay? And then I pull out the form, I fill out the application, and I go right into it. So
Pretty easy close, right?
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
different client,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah. So let me
yeah.
ask you this: where do you get all your leads for your IUL?
IOC. IOC. I'm not lying to you.
All from the IOC.
Everything I do is from IOC. Because
Okay.
it just makes it easier. They're right there. I don't have to wait days to get it. I don't have to wait, hours to get it. I can get it right then and there. Um, most
Do
of
you
the
buy the fresh IUL leads, the ones that just come in, the higher dollar ones, or do you buy the super cheap ones?
It's a mixture. It's a mixture. When I first started, I was buying the gold IULs. I was doing a lot of those, and then I went to the platinum ones, the titanium ones, and then I went to the diamond ones. So the diamond ones is pretty good. You can buy diamond ones. People pick up a lot of time. They pick up like 90% of the time. So they're answering their phones. And they want to book the appointment. They're actually more serious about it, right? So if you buy 30, you're probably gonna book about 20, 20. You're probably gonna about 20, 25, they're gonna pick up the phone, right? And then you're gonna book about half of that, and then half of them gonna show up and you close about three, four, five. So it varies. Same thing with the diamond leaves. I know for a matter of fact, if you spend $500 on the diamond leaves, I'm sorry, the gold I will leave at $5 a piece. Okay, so if you spend 500, you can get 100 of those. Okay, 100 of those is a lot. Okay, that's a lot of work with, and that's a lot of opportunities. Okay, that's a lot of opportunities. Like when I first got it, I was like, wow, this is great. So because I learned it because of that, I learned literally about the IO because I was calling you a lot. I was calling Walk hard. I was trying to figure out, the structure, everything and more. So it really taught me a lot about IO, how to present it now. And now it's like, okay, I have my script, everything is tight, everything's ready to go. Now I can go for those high end clients that have money and they really want, right? So now I know how to talk to them because there's levels when it comes to IULs. You have people that just curious about it. You have people that have the money to invest to get it right. And then you have people that there's high end clients that really have the money, but they don't know where to put that money to. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's where your job comes in to let them know that, hey, this is real, this is possible, this is here. And you can have this much to fund your retirement within this amount of time, and they're just like, wow, that's amazing, right? So that's what I do. So yeah.
Nacho, how did you get confident in running illustrations? And how did you get confident in saying, okay, I'm ready now to start, running IUL appointments?
A lot of practice, a lot of role plays. I actually, so I have an agent I just started training. And just like she's doing it with her mom and her dad, I do the same thing too. So I train my mom, my sisters, my friends. I would call one of my friends is really she's up there. And she throws it at me. It doesn't matter what I say, she would throw it at me like any person would. what types of objections. I'd be like, okay, all right, cool. So we go in there for hours, just understanding it. Um, practice, practice, practice. I had to really perfect a lot of my script. I think that, I don't know if you guys have a script, pay very close into your script, revise your script a lot, look at it a lot, ask a lot of questions. A lot of things I don't understand because the IUL, like when I came in that lock-in we had, what day we had was in April or so, the lock-in we had, I didn't even know anything about IULs, I didn't know, but Jamie gave me some IUL leads to work with, right? I was like, okay, cool. So it was my first time even seeing those leads, right? So I didn't know nothing. So I had to ask a lot of questions. I had to ask a lot of questions, and role playing is what I do. So when I come in before I start work, I just kind of go over my script. I go over the entire thing from top down, from the beginning to the end, for mortgage, for the beginning to end for IUL, so that I'm familiar with it. So it's in my head, it's in my brain, it's in my heart. I know what to say, right? And then I go right into my calls, my appointments, and what I have going on for the day. So I say practice. Practice is just the key. You can't really, you know, have a success with the IULs if you don't practice a lot. And I had to also, if you haven't looked at the boot camp, the IUL training and boot camp on your it's on your the dashboard or so on for FFL. Yeah, right,
Firstlife.com.
right. That so that is really great. I watched that about 10 times. I went over like 10 because I was trying to because everybody has a different closing. And so I had to figure out what's the perfect close, what's the right close, what works for people, what works for me. But it just helped me to understand what IULs are, the benefit of having IUL, and where it can put a family at. IUL is what funds people's retirement. It builds them significant amount of savings. But the number one thing it does for a family is that it builds generational wealth. Okay. And people want to hear that. People don't even know that's even possible. People don't even know how to even do that, how to even start, right? But when you teach them and show them that, hey, this is how you do it. This is how your neighbors do it. This is how your people out here are doing it. I'm like, wow, why didn't I even know about that? Well, now you do. You know what I'm saying? So it's what I tell people, hey man, listen, better late than never. Okay. So now that you heard about it, let's get you situated. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome. Awesome. So when we're first starting off, the easiest way to get going is with final expense, right? Because it's easy to make some money, help a lot of families with final expense. It's going to teach you the health conditions because a lot of those people are older and they
But,
have a lot more health conditions. They have a lot more pills they're taking. Some of them are a walking factory of or pharmacy, right? And then the next higher up is mortgage protection. That's going to pay a little bit more. You're going to have a couple of clients a lot of times on the on the same call because husband and wife need to both get protected, and they have an income, a higher income because they're actually working, right? But that's going to take a little bit more knowledge to be able to have that conversation with that client, right? You need to know a little bit about mortgages, you need to know a little bit about how they work, how they get paid off, that kind of thing. And then on top of that, now the next level up is learning IULs because IULs, you have to run an illustration. Well, not every time, but a lot of times you want to run an illustration to actually show them what kind of numbers they're going to do, but they pay more, right? The more education you get, the more you're going to get paid for it, the more you're going to get a reward by that paycheck in your pocket, right? And then the next step up from there is annuities, right? There's people that have 401ks, they're about to retire. They don't know, they don't want that volatility in the market anymore because if the market drops and they're about to retire, ooh man, that's a devastating, aspect that could happen to anybody. We don't know what's going to happen with the market. So the next level up is annuities, and that's where you get paid the big money in the life insurance business because all they're doing, it doesn't cost anything for the client. In fact, it
right.
actually saves them money, and they get to roll it over into something that is more safe for them. They never lose money. They get a bonus, so they actually get paid to do it. And of course, the agent obviously gets paid very, very well as well. So before we finish up here, Nacho, I wanted to open it up. Well, not really open it up, but if you guys have questions for Nacho, just put them in the chat. Josh has a question here. I see you putting up a lot of Ethos sales. Do you still buy Ethos abandoned cart leads?
No, no, no. So I don't really. So those are mortgage leads. Those are so I only do eat those. So when it comes to mortgage, if they're healthy. I put them to mortgage protection, right? But if they're not healthy, we I do what's called equity protection. Equity protection is simply just final. I'll be real with you, just final spends. We just buy them time. So a lot of those people they want 60,000, 80,000, $100,000. Ethos just makes it simpler for me to give them that because Ethos total amount of coverage goes up to $100,000. Okay. So with Ethos, instead of me having to give them two policies for, um, you know, uh, mutual Transamerica or mutual MM or whatever, I can just do just one policy to give them that exact $100,000. So that's why I go to Ethos. I go to Ethos a lot because if my client is not healthy, then I say, hey, let me ask you this. Within what do you think is gonna happen to the house if you pass it? What are they gonna do with it? A lot of times they say they're gonna sell the house. I say, cool, okay. Well, let's just buy them some time. You know what I'm saying? Because you have this much in equity, right? So let's protect that equity, you know, so that, by the time, they sell the house, everything goes through, they're able to access that equity, they have the money from the life insurance policy to pay them to help them pay for the house for this X amount of years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, whatever amount of years it may be. But it just gives them a sense of comfort that hey, I'm good to go for a while till I figure out what to do with this house, right? But that's where equity protection is. That's where that comes in. That's why I go straight to Ethos because it just makes it simpler. Now, if I have clients that are like they want 20,000, 30,000, $40,000, I just go to the mutual loan. You know what I'm saying? I could just give them that simple, be done with it. But if they want over like 50,000, 60,000, because most of my clients, that's what they want. They want like 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, even 100,000. Hey, we got it. This is Ethos. It makes it simple. You get qualified, everything and more. So I put them through that. It's just a simple process to have to go give them two policies. I just give them one policy, just like, two policies. That's what it is.
So awesome. Got a question from Devin. What's one thing I need to keep in mind while doing my exam to get licensed for life insurance?
Oh boy. So when I did my exam, let me be honest, okay? When I did my exam, I didn't pass it to the third try, okay? I didn't pass it to the third try. Listen, when you go there, it's old English, okay? It's old English, okay? It's old English, just broken up so many ways. They're trying to trick your mind, okay? They're trying to trick you. They can take one question 10 times in a row. I'm so serious on that. Oh, they can bring it up here, they can bring it up here, they can bring it up there, they can bring it up there, but it's the same question. They just trying to trick your mind, okay? Just go with your common sense. If your gut says to go with answer A, it's answer A. If your gut says to go with answer B, it's answer B. Whatever your gut tells you, that's what you click on. That's what you select. Don't go back and pressing yourself about it and then and then change it to C or D. Don't do that. Okay. Whatever your gut tells you, just go with that because that's what I did the first time I did. I when I first saw it, it threw me off. I was like, great. Now I'm just like, the heck, So I had to get around the third try. So it just understand it's broken up English. It's just old English. They just trying to trick you. They're gonna ask you the same question multiple times in a row in the entire test. Okay, whatever your gut tells you, go with that because that is the answer. Okay. If you don't know the answer to a question, just come back to it, and when you just circle and mark it down and come back to it. When you come back to it, come back to the ones that you're coming back to, the ones you haven't answered yet, not the ones you answered. I'll do that. Okay. Not the ones you answered. Because if you go back to the ones you answered, you try to change your answer, 9 out of 10 is wrong. Okay. 9 out of 10 gonna get that wrong. So go with your guts. The ones you don't understand, the ones you haven't answered yet, those are the ones you come back to. Answer those, feel very confident and submit it. Okay. You're gonna pass. Trust me. Always go with your guts. That's gonna get you pass.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, we're running out of time. I guess you guys could probably figure out what this theme is, right? Right from humble beginnings all the way to where he is right now. What's the theme? He was persistent, he never gave up, always, always kept learning. And number one, always ask questions. I'm sure you didn't care on who was picking up the phone on the other side of the phone, how they felt about you asking questions. You asked the question anyways. I remember those days where I was like in the middle of something and you're like asking me questions, calling me over and over and over again. So I totally get it. So that's what you got to do to be successful though, right? If you want it bad enough, you'll be determined enough to get it. And the more questions you ask and the more determination you have, you can have anything you want in this world, right? And Nacho is a spitting image of it. So thank you for being on, Nacho. Just last few minutes here. I mean, do you have what advice would you give? Any tips, any tricks? What advice would you give the new guy?
You guys, what I would say is set a goal for yourself. Set a goal for yourself. I give you three advice, okay? Set a goal for yourself. Okay, number one, set a goal for yourself. If you want to write 5,000 a week, 5,000 a month, whatever your goal is, set that goal. How am I going to get there? How many policies do I need to submit to get that goal, right? So aim for that, and set a goal for yourself. How many phone calls I make per day? How many people I'm going to talk to per day? How many presentations I'm going to present to per day? How many sales I'm going to get per day? Okay, aim for that every single day, and take one day at a time. Don't think about everything all in one. No, take one day at a time. There's so much that goes on in the week, right? Take one day at a time. Take the moment. Take advantage of the moment that you're at. Okay. And just accomplish your goal and just go after it. Okay. One thing that helped me out a lot, Quentin would tell me this. I would call him. He would say, man, just go hard for 5 hours. Okay. Just go in for 5 hours. Block distractions and whatever it is, just go in and focus for 5 hours and you're gonna get a sale. And I did just that, and it happened just like that. Okay, so test yourself. Okay, give yourself a challenge, and just like, hey, let me go hard for 5 hours straight and see what I can accomplish. Right? You're gonna get something. If you don't get something, it's okay. Go hard for another 5 hours, but you're gonna get something at the end of the day. Does that make sense? That's the purpose of it. So either you're gonna present it 5 people, or you're gonna get that sale. Okay, once you start getting that sell and you start building that consistency, that is going to help you succeed. Be consistent, be persistent, and be determined and go after your goals. And last thing I'm going to say is this, okay? Don't waste your time on somebody who is dragging you around, that's giving you the runaround, okay? Don't waste your time on people like that, because people, when that person hasn't shown up to this, they didn't show up to the first appointment, they didn't show up to the second appointment, they didn't show up to the third appointment, move on. Okay, move on to the next person. Put them on a text drip. Let it drip on them. Let them reach out to you or whatever. Whenever that drips gets to them, or they pick their answer the text message, great. But don't focus your energy or your time or your mind on that person. It's gonna drain you out. There are people out here. There's a lot of people out here that need life insurance, that want life insurance, that want the coverage. So that's more than just one person. That person, whatever, forget about it. Move on to the next person. Get that person that's serious about it, that really wants it, and that's your sell. That's your money right there. But don't waste your energy chasing a client that's just giving the runaround. Don't ever do that, because I was doing that when I first started. I was doing within my first year. That was what I was doing, right? That didn't help at all. So when I finally let go of those people, I was able to really grow. I was able to just focus on the vast people out here and help those people out, and that's what's going to make you succeed.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you for being on here, Nacho. I appreciate it. What is if somebody wants to get a hold of you, somebody wants to work with you, how do they get a hold of you? You have an IG, you have a Facebook, how do they get a hold of you? Phone
Hey,
number?
if you want to reach out to me, just text me. My number is 803, okay, 673. I'm gonna put in chat. It's 803-673-4895. Okay. Um, okay, I just put in a chat. So 803-673-4895. If you need any advice, if you want to get hold of me, get some tips, whatever you want to talk to me about, I'm here, man. Just hit me up. Just give me a call. Absolutely.
What about, do you have an Instagram or do you have a YouTube or something?
Yeah, I have an Instagram. It is at I am Michael Femi. There we go. I am Michael Femi. Boom. There you go.
Awesome.
I am
Awesome.
Michael Femi. So hit you there too as well. Absolutely.
Sweet. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you
You
for
guys
having
have a great day.